guys, welcome to Inspired Blueprints, where we build buildings and homes in the virtual world of The Sims 4. So today I wanted to build a Bauhaus inspired home. This is my reference image. When I saw this I was like, it just took my breath away. It's so beautiful, it's so clean and elegant, and I kind of went down this Bauhaus architecture rabbit hole on Pinterest. It's basically like a lot of geometric shapes, clean lines, like very geometric but very striking. Like it's very simple but in just the boldest way possible. It's so beautiful. And when I saw this I was so inspired and I was like, this is what we're doing. So this was what inspired everything, and I really loved the way that it looked with the rounded shapes. This is the back. This image only has the back of the house. So as much as I love this house and how it ended up looking in the end, it was really a problem child for me. It was a struggle, okay? It was nothing but problems, like from beginning to end. First, I really struggled with the shape. The back was pretty clear because obviously the reference image, like I changed a few things. Obviously, like you can't copy an image directly, like cut and paste. There's obviously things that don't work, and you know, some things that The Sims 4 can't really do, so you kind of have to improvise, but you know, not too much improvising. It's like you have a direction, you have a mission. With the front, I kind of got a bit lost, like with how everything ties together. So there's a lot of cuts and a lot of problems. Also, this build has a lot of rounded shapes, a lot of rounded walls and foundations. So if you know, if you've used rounded walls, you know exactly what I'm like about to say, how problematic it is, because it's just a struggle to use from beginning to end. It's very janky, and I hope that that's something that they work on, the Sims team. Like if you're watching this, if you can hear me, please, like, yeah, change the rounded walls features. It's lovely. I love using it. I love that you brought it, but my whole thing is like, yeah, there's a lot of errors. It's very glitchy. The first glitch that I experienced while building is that where like I use a lot of foundations with my rounded walls. So a foundation next to a rounded wall can often lead to like where the wall meets the foundation, there's like this little gap or transparent area. There's multiple in the home. I tried everything to hide them, fix them. They're like, some of them are still there. I'm sorry guys, like there was nothing I could do, and it really bothered me, but eventually I just had to accept, like, okay, you know what, it is what it is. Like it's there to stay, the transparent random hole. And the second thing about the rounded walls, no ceilings. So there's a great feature that was introduced in one of the updates, which was to color ceilings with your floors using like floor tiles and stuff. And this is really awesome, you know, like I think this is something I've been waiting for, because usually before you had to like scrap together some sort of a plan to like figure out if you wanted to have a feature on a ceiling or like some color on the ceiling, you really had to make it work. But now we have a ceiling feature. Color ceiling feature is amazing. I love it. I love the ceiling feature, but the only problem is on rounded walls it does not work, so in case you didn't know. So the last issue in the long list of issues that I had with the rounded walls was, okay, and this is quite like a tricky concept for me to explain. Ooh, sorry, there's a thunderstorm happening as we speak, so if you hear like rumblings, that's what it is. Anyway, so this is quite a complex thing for me to try and explain. But okay, so if you have a rounded wall on the second floor and you have a wall directly underneath the rounded wall, right, on the first floor, if you try and place windows underneath the rounded wall on the second floor on the first floor, it's gonna just go haywire. It just doesn't snap to grid correctly. I couldn't put it on the floor, you know, when the window touches the floor. I couldn't do that. It was just floating above it, and I ended up having to use the tool mod to kind of bring it down. So yeah, it was a battle. It was just a non-stop battle with these rounded walls, but we got there. We got there in the end, and I don't know, I would say I won, but I'm not sure. As you can see, I've settled on the colors. You probably saw there were a few back and forths like as to what color I was going to go with, what color scheme. The reference was very gray, and the gray looked lovely in the reference, but like when it ended up coming when I ended up doing it in the game, it just felt a little bit like it washed. It just wasn't very distinct. It wasn't very defined. So I thought the black and white worked a lot better. Another issue, this is like a venting session. The stairs, every time I made a change to the foundation, the stairs would just like, they wouldn't align with the foundation floor, and I'm not exactly sure why that was happening. I don't know if I want to blame the rounded walls, because it's very easy to blame the rounded walls right now because they're the issue with everything, but I'm not sure what was causing it. But yeah, so I had to replace those stairs over and over again, and I'm sure you're going to see cuts of them disappearing and going unaligned, but that was a major issue that I had. To my understanding, I've uploaded it onto my gallery, it's called my library, not the gallery. I've uploaded it onto my library, and I tried to download it again, and when you download it, the issue doesn't happen. So they don't unalign just by themselves. They don't pop out of alignment on their own. It just seems to be an issue of when you make changes to the foundation. That's what happens. So yeah, the last feature in the build that I wanted to add was this large gate, right? Obviously we have these two cylinders like kind of wrapping around the house that work with the shape of the back, and in the front I wanted them to come around and wrap around the front and create like kind of a barrier or a gate, because it is a celebrity home, so I don't think they'd just be like the front door is just there. They'd probably definitely have a gate, and yeah, I wanted to make it quite grand and just like a nice theatrical gate. I actually use this fence from Eco Living. What is it called? Give me a second. Right, it's called the waffle weave bamboo fence. That's like what I put in between the walls, so it's like one wall, one block of wall, and then one block of this fence, and it just kind of created this graphic pattern which I really liked, where you can kind of see through it but not really. And I guess it's not really a gate because there is no physical gate, but it's just like an entrance, it's like a grand entrance. And yeah, I really liked the way that it turned out in the end, and it's gonna get bigger. This isn't the final shape. I ended up making it a 2-story entrance only in the front, and then it just kind of wraps around the house, and it's a really nice feature that kind of tied the back and the front of the house design together. Finally came together, and yeah, I'm just working on some greenery right now. If you guys have watched, well, I haven't been in the game for too long yet, on the YouTube game, but in my previous videos I have mentioned before that I really like greenery is serious for me. That's when the house really feels like it comes alive, and I love adding greenery. I love adding lots of greenery. This house I didn't put too much, like it wasn't like they were in the wild or anything, but it definitely helps the vision come to life, and just it makes it feel more realistic, adding some landscaping and just adding some final touches to the front and the back. It just accentuated everything really nicely. And then so Bauhaus, and a lot of the references I saw, and it's not in the reference image but on Pinterest, and I'll find a picture and put it up, but they use a lot of holes, a lot of round holes, and in the ceiling especially, and I really like the idea of just a random hole in the ceiling just like chilling there. It's just it's striking. It's like, ooh, and I decided to put a tree, and it kind of goes from the first floor up all the way to the ceiling. I did add the stony goodness slab around the hole, because obviously you can't create like a perfectly round hole in a ceiling without a wall or anything. So I just kind of used the stony goodness slab to just frame it and make it look more like a circle. And initially I did a very wonky version. Like, don't judge me for the version I just did now, because it's not it's not straight. But I went back and I used a circle mat, and I got it right. And in the pool, what I'm doing now, you can see I've gotten it correct. I'm not going to waste so much time like trying to get it to be a perfect circle. I'm only human, so we don't make perfect circles. But yeah, I ended up using the circle mat for the pool. Which, yeah, we're here. I ended up making a rounded shape. I ended up changing completely because I just felt like the pool needed to tie in better with the overall house. The square pool didn't feel right in my soul, so I just decided, let me make it a rounded pool and it kind of matches the, straight walls with rounded edges. It matches the theme of the house, so I ended up being happy with how the pool looked. I used the modish monolith. It's from Spa Day, and it's really, really large, so it goes all the way to the bottom of the pool. It looks like a real wall, and I was really happy with the way that it hid the edges, because the stony goodness slab, I hate seeing the edges like when you're inside the pool, so this completely creates a new wall, and I just framed it using the tool mod, which I can't explain now, but if you need to know how to use the tool mod, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube that you can watch, but I use the elevate feature to just bring all of the monoliths, the slabs, down and create a frame for the pool. And then I'm just finishing up with some greenery, some final touches. I really liked the flowers that are like on the ledge of the boundary, like it's on a hill, and then over the ledge, down the hill, there's like these purple and white, well, I guess not purple, maybe more like bluish and white flowers, and I noticed there's a base game flower that literally looks like the same thing. I think it is the same thing, so I use those for the greenery, and it blends in with the space. It looks like it belongs on the property, so yeah, I was happy with the greenery choice that I made last minute to just decide to add that in. And that brings us to the end of the building portion of the video, and now we're about to finish it. Furnishing in the kitchen. I feel like I always start in the kitchen. I don't know what it is, but I just always start in the kitchen. It's like a habit of mine. Speaking of ingrained habits, like this countertop, I feel like it's my go-to. Maybe I should diversify. In the next video, I'll choose a different counter. But for this one, I definitely went to my go-to, which is it's called the Juice Series Tileable Countertop, and it's from Spa Day. And I love it because it's just so modern, right? It just reminds you of like the modern kitchen that you would see in real life. So that's why it's my go-to. And I wanted the inside to follow the outside, like the very clean and simple and minimal and stylish kind of vibe that I went on the outside. I wanted to embody on the inside, so I wanted it to be, well, like what I just said, clean and simple and minimal. So the floors and the walls are going to be very simple and white, and I don't really use a lot of color in this build, to be completely honest. I keep it to very neutral colors or black and white. There's maybe a pop of color or two here and there, but I didn't really explore color too much, and I thought like it was too distracting, particularly for this build. Like sometimes I do like using color schemes, sometimes I'm in a colorful mood, but generally I like for things to match in the house. I like for the interior to have if I'm gonna go for a colorful palette, I'm gonna do 3 bright colors and then just repeat throughout the house. But if I can't get the colors to match, it's gonna really bother me, and it feels a bit disorienting, so I just decided to keep it black for this build with subtle pops of color here and there. And it's obviously an open plan, from the kitchen to the dining room to the bar. I feel like, speaking of habits, yeah, maybe this is an intervention. But the next build, I've already built the next build, coming soon. Stay tuned. And yeah, it's gonna be a bit different to this one. I use different styles. I tried to push myself, so you're gonna see some new stuff. But I feel like, wow, I'm being a bit dramatic because I'm only like 3 videos in. But you know what? Like, let me have it. Yeah, I'm trying new things. I'm trying to grow my channel, guys. So yeah. And we're moving on to from what it looks like now, but it did change quite a lot. So I thought the struggle ended with the building. I changed my mind in the dining room, and I decided to particularly play around with it a little bit more, kind of find something that matched the house a little bit better. And I ended up was set on finding these chairs. So it's actually like an outdoor chair. What is it called? To be honest, it ended up being my least favorite room. It's called the Struggle significantly. Oh no, it's not called the Struggled. I was writing notes being like, I struggled with the chairs. It's not called the Struggle chair, okay? It's called the Poolside Dining Chair, and it's actually from Get Together. And even though it's meant to be used outdoors, I guess it does have, I'm seeing the thatch now, and I'm like, okay, maybe it is a bit outdoor vibes. But I just thought that it fit the living room so well. They do look quite cozy, like you can really sit back and relax in that chair. And it just felt like, with the colors and the mat that I ended up going with, which is actually a mat from the Jungle Adventure pack, and it's called the Salvadorian, what is it called? The Salvadorian Throw Rug. It's just so graphic. It just has a pattern, even though the colors are black and white, it still kind of looks like bold and like, something interesting to look at, even though there's no color, which is, color is generally a way to make you look and like, make you feel like something's interesting to look at. It's an easy way to make something bold. But with the pattern, I just felt like, it needed something really graphic. And then I came back to the living room because I was still unhappy, and right now, to be honest, I'm just shuffling things around. I ended up flipping the direction of the couches so that it's going counter to the rounded wall, and I thought maybe it would fit better, and I still think it does fit better. But like I said, even after all the changes I made, it's still my least favorite room in the house. Total transparency. Maybe I shouldn't say that because it's like, but yeah, to be honest, it just is. It's my least favorite room in the house. I really, it's just, it's not my favorite. But it's okay. It's a solid pass, It's a solid 50%. No, not 50%. I feel like, anyway, let's just move on. I added this fish tank. I don't know where it's from, but I just like the idea of having a fish tank and, having something in the corner to just look at. And I ended up adding shelves around the TV, just kind of framed the TV, and I added some like a gaming console and a speaker and some clutter on the shelves just to make it look like, lived in. And it just kind of frames the TV and makes the living room look put together. And then I moved outside, and I really wanted to have a seating area right inside the pool, in that empty area that is sitting inside the pool. It seems like a great thing for hosting. Like, that's what I have in mind every time I build a home, is like, what are these Sims going to do in the home? What are some ideas that are just really central to the home? And for me, right, hosting events is like central, like, to the home design, right? Like, how are the guests? How are you going to host guests? And how are you going to make it an environment where you can just entertain and host? And yeah, the outdoor area is just a perfect area for relaxing. You know, we've got some lounge chairs, and it's just with that view, you really want to capitalize. You really want to make sure that that's a space that the Sims can enjoy, because the view is just absolutely incredible, especially at night. So that's the main thing I had in mind. And then I moved upstairs to the bedroom, and I wanted the master bedroom to really be like the main bedroom of the house. You know, like just a really nice bedroom, really cozy, really just modern, and there's a super striking element to the house, right? Like, this isn't just like someone who plays it safe, or like, you know, goes for something a little bit more, what's the word, like stereotypical. This is someone who is a bit artsy, you know, who likes, you know, like something that looks interesting. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I hope I am. So the bedroom just had to embody that vibe. Like, it can't just be a bedroom. It has to be something that's interesting. And so I decided to add the unfulfilled sign, the black version, to make a little bed rest that frames the bed, hides that curve in the bed. The bed is actually a base game bed. It's called the Utopiate. Am I pronouncing it right? The Utopiate. And the curve is cool and everything, but I just decided it doesn't really work with the headboard, so I just kind of hid it behind the boards and created this really seamless, it looks like it goes with the bed, you know, like in IKEA when you put together the parts and stuff, it looks like it comes with the bed, which is a good start. So I was really happy with that. And then the main bedroom obviously has a grand door. You walk in, there's a closet with a countertop and some mirrors, lots and lots of mirrors, and some things that you grab maybe on your way out after you get ready. And then that whole area with the closet leads into the bedroom. And yeah, I really like the way that the bedroom ended up looking. I ended up adding these lines on a wall above the unfulfilled sign on the bed, which really made the headrest look like a centerpiece. And it's actually one of my favorite rooms I've ever built. This is my favorite room, okay? The lounge is my least. The living room, I don't know if people universally call it a lounge, but the living room / lounge is my least favorite, and the bedroom, the master bedroom, is officially my favorite, right? The way that came together was just really nice, and I was really happy with it. And yeah, it makes you feel like, you know, I did something I did something good. And yeah, so I ended up putting curtains. So this really modern curtain rail from, I think it's from yes, it's from Desert Luxe. It's like a kit. It's not a pack, it's like a kit. And it has some really nice stuff. I've actually used quite a few things from that pack. The small rounded stone tables and the fireplace outside. The really large fireplace, and then obviously this item. And yeah, that pack has some really nice stuff actually. It's underrated. I mean, not pack, kit. And I never buy kits. It's literally the only kit that I have. So, you know, at least it gets put to good use. And yeah, I'm happy with the way that everything ended up tying together. I built kids' rooms because, you know, it is a family home at the end of the day. Like, I want practicality, even though it's super aesthetic and, like, you know, pretty. I still want it to be functional and useful. And so I've decided 2 kids' bedrooms, one primarily for infants, which comes with the Growing Together pack. It's called the Growing Together pack. And just another bedroom for a kid with a double bed, you know. And yeah, just a nice, well-rounded family home. And then I moved on to the outdoor area again because it was incomplete, and I was like, what am I going to do with this extra space? It's a really large porch, veranda, whatever you want to call it, and it's really big, and I need to use the space. So I decided, let me build a basketball court. But the basketball court templates, the basketball court lines in the game that come with City Living, they're just like a bit large for that area. So I decided to make a manual one using a black tile from the base game. It's called the No Drab Slab. Perfect for basketball. And yeah, I just added some floor lights around it to frame it and mimic like the court lines. And then I am working on a guest bedroom, a pool house to be more specific. And one thing I really love about the Growing Together pack is that they've introduced stayovers. You can plan a stayover, yeah. And obviously, you know, I'm a generation player. I like gameplay, but I like family gameplay and generational gameplay where like you play from generation to generation. And so I ended up having really large families. And generally, before this pack came into the fold, I didn't really build like a lot of guest bedrooms because you can't really use them. Well, you couldn't use them before, but now you can, because now you can have stayovers and you can invite people over for multiple days. And so this is an experience, right, to give your guests like a nice pool house. You walk out, there's a beautiful view, there's an outdoor kitchen ready, and there's a kitchen available for you in the pool house, right? So it's completely self-contained. It has a kitchen, a living room, and a bedroom, and a bathroom. Funny enough, this entire build, speaking of bathrooms, has 8 bathrooms, and I haven't showed any of the bathrooms, not because I'm embarrassed or anything, but just because this was such a long build and it took so much time to make, and I had to figure out how to prioritize what to show you guys, what to not show you guys, and it was quite tricky. So I ended up cutting out all of the bathrooms, but it does have 8 bathrooms in total, which is giving mansion. And yeah, the house ended up being 8 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, really, really large. And here is the final tour of the house. I hope you guys enjoyed. I haven't told you guys yet, but please subscribe. Please like. Please comment also. What would you like for me to do next? What is the next kind of style of build that you'd like me to build? If you have reference images, even better. Suggest them to me. I'm so open to suggestions. I'm so open to hearing what you guys have to say about what you guys think about my content. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye.